Yes. Well, the Black Jacket Symphony makes a triumphant return to the Columbia County Performing Arts Center. They've performed some of the most popular rock and roll albums note for note. They've been doing that now for thousands of people for over a decade. Tomorrow night, they pay tribute to the late, great Tom Petty, performing his album Full Moon Fever, cover to cover, plus all of his greatest hits. I got a chance to speak with the co-founder of the group, Jason Rogoff. Take a look. And we are with Jason Rogoff with the Black Jacket Symphony, one of the co-founders. Jason, thanks again for joining us this morning.
Cliff, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Love to have you guys in town every time you come by. Before we get to what's happening tomorrow night at the Columbia County PAC, give us a little background on what the Black Jacket Symphony is, how it came about. It's not the symphony that I think a lot of people think of.
That you were correct. No, it is, we call it the symphony of our generation. So we recreate classic rock albums, note for note, sound for sound. And then we come back and do a full set of the evening's artist's greatest hits. So this week we're doing Full Moon Fever in its entirety, and then we'll come back and do a full set of Tom Petty's greatest hits.
That's going to sound amazing. Both sets on that. And, of course, Petty passing away just a few years ago, I saw a huge uptick in his fan base. What can people expect tomorrow night?
A rockin' good time. I mean, Tom Petty was such a great songwriter. And great performer, great vocalist. He just, he's really is just, an all-encompassing full package artist. And so it's a real honor for us to get to come in and do his albums and try to do them justice and do his songs justice.
You and the symphony have been coming here to the Augusta area for the last number of years. Last time you were here in January, it was a sold-out show at the Columbia County PAC with Fleetwood Mac. So many artists and bands that the Black Jacket Symphony has done, from the Beatles to Journey to Guns N' Roses to Zeppelin. How difficult is it to choose an artist or an album to perform?
It's a great question. It's really difficult, to be honest. We spend a lot of time going back and forth over who we think or what album we think is worthy of recreating, what people are going to be interested in seeing. There's no shortage of opinions, and we hope we get it right.
And I'm sure you get that also from the musicians as well as all the fans that watch you guys too.
Yeah, I mean, we were riding back from a show on Saturday night actually, and going back and forth over a few different bands and a few different albums that we'd like to do, but maybe wouldn't sell as well as we would need them to. So, everybody's personal tastes are different, and we're trying our best to hit the most people, or an album that the most people would be interested in.
And it's not just an audio performance; it's a visual experience as well. What goes on in touring a production like this?
A lot. So we have a really incredible production team. So in addition to the musicians, we travel with lighting and audio and video. And the lighting and video are real crucial to the show. It adds a whole nother element to the experience. And our lighting designer, his name's Gable Larimore, and he is just, he's wonderful and really takes the time to go through every single song and tell a story with the lights, that complements the music.
And you bring up the musicians. Let's talk about the players here. You've got consummate professionals. A lot of them do this full time, but some of them actually have full-time jobs, and they're with you guys on the road every once in a while. What's the process in picking those musicians for these particular albums?
Well, we work really hard to make sure that each player that we pick is right for the role. We've been very fortunate to have some musicians who are whose abilities just are incredible, and they can play multiple different records, with us. So our drummer, for example, I think we've done, I want to say it's like 42 or 43 records now.
Wow.
Our drummer has done, I think, all but 3 of the shows. I mean, he is so versatile. We have a guitar player who is very similar in terms of being versatile and doing almost all the shows. But in terms of how we find musicians, oftentimes musicians find us. But we have a pretty good network of people, and you just kind of talk and, oh, he's really talented, she's really talented, he'd be right for this role, she'd be right for that role. And we then audition them, typically have them send us, some videos. The internet makes it super easy, and we go from there.
Well, fans are definitely going to be able to check this out firsthand tomorrow night. Black Jacket Symphony performing Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever in its entirety, plus all of his and the Heartbreakers' greatest hits. A few tickets are still left. You can pick those up at thecenterofcc.com. Be sure you check that out. Showtime is at, I think, at 8 o'clock tomorrow, right?
8 o'clock tomorrow night. The album, and we were talking earlier, the album starts off pretty strong, right? So you got to get there on time. You're not going to want to miss Free Fallin' or I Won't Back Down, right? Those are the two that kick it off, which is fun. And then our second set, our set of greatest hits, is pretty phenomenal. I have my cheat sheet right here that I'm looking and seeing what all we're going to be doing, and I think people will be pleasantly surprised and be singing along for the bulk of the night.
Excellent. Well, we can't wait to see you. I'll be right there in the front row, man. Jason Rogoff with the Black Jacket Symphony. Again, the show tomorrow night at the Columbia County Performing Arts Center. Good to see you, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Great to see you, too. Thanks for having me, Cliff.